Bitcoin crash.
Let's get into it.
So today, guys, we're going to be talking about the general market and how Bitcoin has had another crash to the downside. As we get into this video, guys, if you do find it useful and informative, do go ahead and hit that like button for us. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you would like to stay up to date with the new cryptocurrencies, technical analysis, hidden gems, and news, then why not become a subscriber? By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here. It's free. You'll stay well informed. So why not? And Chris, is there anything else that you would like to add before we jump on down and get into everything crypto?
Yeah, everything crypto, everything Elon Musk, eh? Like he's back at it, isn't he? In all his glory. Let us know what you think about the tweets that have been sent out. That has pretty much had a knock-on effect for the whole crypto market. So really interested to get your views and opinions.
Right, let's jump on down and get right on into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, guys, just to start with, we had a pretty green day yesterday. So the fear and greed index actually increased, right? So we got to 27. Elon Musk was like, no, we can't be having this. We must pull that fear and greed index back down. So I imagine tomorrow is going to be extreme fear. So watch that space. This again is just a generalized fear and greed index. It gives you a bit of an overview of what's going on in the entire space. So actually, because we had a pretty good day yesterday, it actually rose today. It's always about 24 hours out of date if we think of it like that. So 27, whereas the day prior was 24. I imagine it's probably going to drop down to about 15 tomorrow to represent everything that's been happening today. Now, of course, if you go to EVI's platform, you can go and sign up to their dashboard. And when doing so, you can actually get a better kind of an understanding on each of these cryptocurrencies. So for example, if I go over to Bitcoin here and we just close off the indicators there, and we can see obviously the charts that will load up here for Bitcoin. You can see the action here that's been kind of going on. We can see where we are right now today. And if we have a look at the hourly, you can see the result of Elon Musk's tweet, for example, which we'll get into in a moment. You can also see that the fear and greed index for Bitcoin here is a little bit more specific, and it does show you exactly what's going on with the fear and greed index for Bitcoin. You also have the Sharpe ratio, so what is the risk to your rewards? Well, here you go, you can see that as well. You can also see peak end value demand. You've got all this information available at your fingertips. And again, if you wanted to have a look at some different power factors, you can come in here and take a look at the liquidity issues. You can take a look at the profit and return, etc. We'll just close that off again. So if we take a look here, we can see that the AMI-HAD ratio is a grade D, so liquidity is a problem. We can also see it's an A1 rating from a profitability point of view because it's been performing so well recently. If you think about where it was 12 months ago to where it is today, your ROI on that is incredibly powerful. But yeah, EVI.io, it does give us a little bit more clarity on what's going on with a specific cryptocurrency. So in the case of Bitcoin, it has an overall rating here of C2. And again, you get that understanding of how is the fear and greed index, what is the Sharpe ratio, what is that AMI-HAD ratio, what is the ROI, and moving averages and all that kind of good stuff. So do recommend checking this one. It gives you a little bit more clarity than you usually get from something like this, which is a generalized fear and greed index. So do just sign up. It's completely free to use. EVI.io. Do recommend checking that out. Now, if we get into Bitcoin's dominance, again, we've been monitoring this situation. We've seen this thing hit 39 and move to the upside here. And again, we're expecting this thing to rise to about 51 in the same way that we saw it over here. Now, obviously on this journey, it does have many kind of pullbacks. It gets quite volatile. You can see this. If I zoom in a little bit deeper, you can see how it gets pulled down. It goes back up. It gets pulled back down and so forth. So we're going to be experiencing something not too dissimilar where it goes up, it gets pulled down, it will go back up again. And this just represents the entire market, right? And how much dominance of that entire market does Bitcoin have? So Bitcoin here, during the 2017-2018 bull run, obviously had a significant portion of the market. And again, what we're looking for here is to basically mimic what happened in 2017 to really have that bull run really peak out with those altcoins pulling Bitcoin's dominance all the way down to the bottom here. And that's when you're kind of peaked out your bull run. So we know straight away by looking at it from this perspective that we are not quite there yet. Now, again, when we take a look at the stock to flow model, this also indicates something very similar. Here we can see the recent kind of crash from Bitcoin. And you can see this happening over here in 2017, and you can also see it over here in 2013. There's nothing different about this one, other than the fact that we have institutions also manipulating it a little bit, and I say a little bit, quite a bit, to kind of really push the price and accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can for when this thing does peak out just above this line, in the same way that we saw here, right? So this journey from the crash that we were experiencing through to the high there in early January is something that we're going to see, I believe, in 2022, January 2022, or the end of 2021, where we do see that real peak above here, and that would put Bitcoin's price somewhere between that $200,000 to $300,000. And again, we're somewhere between these two cycles, where the crash for 2013 was very, very severe. The crash in 2017 was not as severe, and obviously where we are in 2021 is somewhere between those two cycles. So it doesn't mean it's exactly like 2017, it's not exactly like 2013, it's something totally new, but it is following a kind of hybrid approach of these two particular crashes. So I imagine that we're going to have a pretty good end of the year once things really start to move on again. So it's just worth pointing out how Bitcoin is currently performing, both from a fear and greed index point of view, from a Bitcoin dominance point of view, and also the stock to flow model. It helps give us a bit of a picture as to where we are in the cycle and where we are likely to go, as a long-term investor, both for, 2021, 2022, but also 2025, where you can see the next kind of bull run really coming to its own up there, obviously. So as a long-term investor, have to have that longer investment mindset. And this is what institutions have. They play around. They're quite happy to see their portfolios drop and dive, while shaking out people who are less experienced in the space or are just trying to make quick money, which just doesn't simply happen. There are those rare occasions where, Doge millionaires are being made, for example, but there are few and far apart. Ultimately, what you end up with is a lot of pain for retail investors who do not understand what they're doing, and they get shaken out of the market very, very quickly. So it's good to have a good understanding of where things are in the cycle and where we are thinking about going, both in the kind of the medium term and the long term. Right, so let's get into the point of this video, which is all about Bitcoin's crash, right? So basically, Bitcoin drops after Musk tweets of breakup. So again, another very frustrating piece. So obviously, after a green day yesterday, Elon Musk couldn't stand Bitcoin being in the green. Absolutely had to do a tweet about it. So Bitcoin fell Friday after Elon Musk tweeted a comic strip that appeared to show a couple in the midst of a breakup. Many in the crypto community are interpreting it as a sign that the billionaire distanced himself from Bitcoin. Obviously, it dropped by 5%. So Bitcoin slipped a total of 7%, actually. It has recovered a little bit, hitting lows of under 36,500 and more, reversing Thursday's rally to $39,000. The cryptocurrency ran into offers after basically Musk tweet revived fears of the billionaire distancing himself from Bitcoin. Tweets pulled other cryptocurrencies down as well, because basically everything's still kind of coupled to Bitcoin itself. So ultimately, lots of the alts have now basically, after their breakout events yesterday, have been dragged back down, including Dogecoin, after this particular tweet. And this is the tweet what we're talking about, right? So basically, Elon Musk, hashtag Bitcoin breakup emoji. So this is what it basically says. It just says, I know I said it would be over between us if you ever quoted a Linkin Park song, but I found someone else, him. So in the end, it doesn't even matter. So then it's obviously he's done another tweet to that, which is, I miss you. So straight away, you kind of get the vibe that he is deliberately manipulating the market here. He knows what he is doing because he's so obvious. He should be fully aware of what he is doing at this particular point in time, considering everything that's happened so far to date and how he has been interacting via Twitter with a large following to, what I will call it, manipulate the market. And this sounds familiar because we have the thing that we have to also acknowledge as well. John McAfee, who did a very similar thing back in 2017. Okay, not only was he being paid to shill coins via Twitter, etc., but he was also manipulating the markets in a similar way. Basically, people were speculating on what is being said via Twitter from his account to his millions of followers. And ultimately, what you end up with is he went on the run for years. He's just been arrested over in Spain. And his wife is actually saying that everything that Elon Musk is doing is exactly why her husband got arrested. So I think, yeah, I would like to see Elon Musk in cuffs. If anything, he should have his phone confiscated from him to prevent access to Twitter. Or in fact, you could argue that the damages that he is causing should see him banned from Twitter. Ultimately, it's just something isn't right. I totally do think that John McAfee's wife actually has a really valid point here. And her point on this is not to put Elon Musk in jail, but to free her husband. And I would say actually both of them should potentially just end up in jail. Or at least, completely banned from social medias. And they definitely shouldn't have a large following where they shouldn't be able to manipulate markets like this to such a degree. So yeah, it's an interesting piece. I'll try to link this into the description so you guys can have a read on it. But basically, the similarities between what Elon Musk is doing and what John McAfee was doing in 2017 is very, very similar. Although John McAfee was being paid to shill certain coins, he had the ability to move the needle. Not as much though as Elon Musk. Elon Musk has the ability to move the needle far greater than that of John McAfee ever could. Many, many more followers. And ultimately very, very damaging to the entire space. We've seen what happens on a very stupid tweet of a comic strip that basically is indicating, or people are speculating on, is basically Bitcoin and Elon Musk being distanced from it. And ultimately that means tanking the entire crypto market and billions of dollars disappearing. That is incredibly hard to swallow, and it's definitely a foul play. It's manipulation at at top level, and it's very, very wrong in my opinion. But Chris, what's your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I really don't like the manipulation, be it positive or negative. Really, I just kind of feel like you should just leave the markets to play out as they should play out. Like, I don't know, it's frustrating, right? Lots of work and effort goes into the TA side of things, not just from our side, just generally. There's lots of people that do all this TA, and then you just get somebody that really, yeah, he's a clever guy, but he's just manipulating the market to suit either his needs or others' needs, and they're not your needs. I just find the whole thing frustrating, but I do kind of feel like, where's the SEC protecting retail investors? That's my question.
Yeah, I just feel that if people like President Trump can be banned from Twitter for tweeting a few things, then surely Elon Musk should be banned from Twitter for causing billions of dollars of damages.
Yeah, I agree.
Arguably, I just think it's a quite black and white, simple scenario here. But nonetheless, it is what it is. At least we now know why the market is being crashed or being pulled down. The question is, how are you reacting to it? Because we believe that it's going to be business as usual once again, as we saw after the recent crash as well. Things will recover. It just being, I feel, kept low. The prices are being kept low for now. I do feel that they want to see, and I say they, the institutions, these people manipulating the prices in the background, want to see that Bitcoin dominance rise without the price of Bitcoin rising. And the reason for this is they can see that there's still money sat out there that could be shaken out of the market, right? There's still retail investors here. They want to get hold of that. So as long as we hold tight, I do feel that this is probably going to be prolonged. I'm not saying we suggest that we sell or anything like that, because that's exactly what they want. I suggest that we actually all kind of sit tight, hold on, and see how this unfolds. I am not going to be selling. I'm a long-term investor, and we have to bear in mind, no one who bought Bitcoin at the top of 2017's bull run, an absolute peak, is yet in any negative figures. They are still in profit. So bearing in mind, if you had held from the peak of 2017 to now, you're still in profit on many of these projects. So it's taking Bitcoin specifically in that scenario that you are in profit. So the long-term play here is always an option, as long as you're not putting in more than you could afford to lose. And you're not overextending yourselves. Not financial advice. We're not financial advisors, but you should be okay longer term. So some of these real micro time frames that we're looking at now, with these tweets going out on these specific days, they're all about trying to incite fear and trying to get you to part ways and thinking that we're going into a bear market before things really start heating up, moving up towards those peaks. Now, as a long-term player, even if you do miss the 2021-2022 peak of a bull run, the 2025 is going to be absolutely massive. So for us, we're sitting tight, we're holding on, diamond hands, all that kind of stuff, hodl. It doesn't mean to react to this news. I don't think that's the right answer. But what's your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, for me, reacting to this is just dangerous. The only reaction that I'm having recently is buying up some of the fear that's in the market, because I don't think the bull run's over, and I really do feel that come the summer we're going to be in a really good place. And I'm not just naive about this. Like, this is somebody that's just quit their 9 to 5, right, to do this full time. So I expect this to happen. I'm confident in it. And the manipulation is something that we talked about back at the back end of 2020. We talked about the swings in the market, to expect them. And when you've got institutions coming in, you've got to expect that manipulation to come in with it. It's part and parcel of what's required in this space, unfortunately. But with that said, I do kind of feel like there needs to be stronger and tougher penalties, I guess is probably the word that I'd use, for institutions that are caught manipulating the market, or individuals.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you found this useful and informative, do go ahead and hit that like button. We both really do appreciate that. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you'd like to stay up to date with the new cryptocurrencies, the hidden gems, the technical analysis, and news, then do subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here. It is free, you'll stay well informed, so why not? With that said, done and out of the way, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Take care.